What is going on, everybody? We're here to talk about the latest episode of The Penguin that we all just watched together. One of the best shows on, I almost said television, but I guess you have to say streaming on everything these days because that's what it is. But we'll tell you what we think right after this. All right, guys, The Penguin. We just watched the newest episode, recording this on a Sunday night. We always watch after Sunday night football, all come together, watch through our Ko-fi, whatever the heck that thing is called. But we're pretty sure we got links in the description. You can join that, join the Discord, and join us on things when we're watching all these. And according on what tier you're on, possibly even join us on the shows and talk about the shows that we watch together. And hey, you know what? Something that I realized is, it's a lot more fun watching these things with like friends and everything else. A lot better than just watching them on your own kind of thing. Pretty interesting, and it's pretty nice to be able to talk about stuff right after you get through watching it. So this will be our immediate reactions. We have no info on anything going forward or anything like that. We don't look up those kind of things. So whatever we discuss will be just us like hypothesizing about, hey, what's going on in the show and everything else. So with that being said, let's go down the row here. Always like to get the general thoughts, like your first reactions of the show overall, and if you liked it or didn't like it. And so y'all trying to push it on. Y'all want me to start this off?
Oh, go, Big Daddy. Let's go.
Oh, shit. I started out this time. You know what I'm saying?
Throw him for a loop.
But not real. Like this show is, to me, the best thing going right now. Like out of all the shows that I'm watching or just got through watched here recently, I'm not going to say this is the best show all year because I do think there's a couple of the contenders out there, at least where I'm concerned. But this is definitely, to me, the best show that's happening right now on streaming or TV or whatever. Super great writing, super just great story that's being told. They're fleshing out most of the characters, if not all of them. The only people that don't get fleshed out, all right, is like the grubby ass little soldiers, you know what I'm saying? That's over there trying to get their money and stuff. So, but anybody that's of any sort of significance has just like good story. Like whether you like the character or not because they're bad or something like that, like they're still like good characters as far as like a story goes. Like nobody likes old rat ass Biddy, right? I'm pretty sure. But even with that being said, like he's a great character in the show. It's good that he's in the show, even though he's
what did you call him?
Oh, rat ass Beady.
Beady?
Beady.
Oh.
With a B. But yeah, like but no, just overall like good stuff. Like there's like a couple of things like you can pick out in like a lot of deals. Like you can be like, man, how stupid is Penguin to go and try to do that mushroom drop and then end up basically ruining all of his mushrooms. But he did save a couple. Luckily, somebody kept the lids on a couple of the buckets there, and those mushrooms are still alive. And then there's like a part even in that scene where a bad guy from the other family comes around the corner, and I'm like, why didn't that guy just shoot Penguin? Like Penguin turns around and shoots him, right? But why was that guy walking up to him? Like you could have just shot him and like that kind of thing. But like I said, that's like nitpicks you can pick out on a lot of shows with stuff like that and that kind of deal. But yeah, other than that, love the show. Thought it was pretty good. And I think this whole season so far has been actually really good. Well, that being said, let's jump over here. We'll go to No Road over here.
It was definitely not the Red Wedding where he got everybody, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I thought this called Homecoming. I thought it was appropriately called. I thought we had a little journey. Of course, we're trying to follow Penguin's rise and his navigation of the streets and trying to rise to power. There's some stops along the way, the road, no pun intended. When you had to navigate, and we kind of got to, where it's shaping up towards a final confrontation. Two sides have joined forces against Penguin. Penguin's up against the ropes. We'll see how he navigates everything, but we've gotten to a good place in the show right now, and I'm very interested in how this all comes about.
True enough. Brandi, what did you think overall, like about the episode after watching it there?
I loved it. At first I was like, I don't know where this is going, especially the stuff that happened with Oz, and then having him take his mother, Victor take his mother to a safe place, and then brought him to, was it Crown Point?
Mhm.
And that doesn't look like the safest place, but it's where none of the families even touch that area. So I guess it's safe in his own way, but yeah. But then we see Sophia. She's not a Falcone anymore. She's a Miss Gigante.
Mhm.
She's taken over. The father, the father's line ended with the father dying, and she's a new. She killed everybody, took everybody out, kept Johnny Viti. Viti tried to, hey, let's not change the thing, and she said, "Done. You're gone. You're out of here." She don't need him no more. She's got everybody she needs. All those guys. She's like, you they labored off. They took your money. You did all the labor. You did all the work, and they gave you barely crap. So here I am. You wanna make the money? You make the money. You keep it. I'll make you more richer than they all ever did. So of course people are gonna be like, hell yeah, I'll work for you. You're gonna make me more money. I'll definitely do it.
Yeah, it's like one of the things, like when we were watching it, Ferris was watching with us, and like he said something about, oh yeah, she kept him alive just to like shoot him in the head for that moment. And I don't think that was the thing.
Yeah.
I think she set him up to like prove what he was saying. Like, this is your chance, get all the people together, let's get in the room to talk. And then he started running his mouth that showed that although he's saying that he would be loyal to her, when she starts saying her things, he starts kind of going against that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's what got him killed. I think if he would have been like, say like if they would have had another character there that was say going against her as she's saying that stuff about the family and how that she's changing the name, and he would have stood up and said, "Shut your mouth.
Yep.
This is what we're doing now." Like, yeah. If he says that, yeah, exactly. Like, right. So like he didn't know what she was going to say, but if he would have kept that same attitude, I think she keeps him around. Because he is like a power player. I don't think she actually did that to shoot him in the head. But when she found out, so when we get around these guys again and these thugs, you're gonna like try to act like that you still have some kind of power, and you don't.
Yeah,
she shoots that fool in the head right there in the middle.
And
of
she's
the thing.
like, "This is the matriarch." She's like, "This is the matriarch era,"
Well, here goes the thing. Is when listening to her talk, and it just so happens to be like here not too long from now, people are going to be going to like polls and voting and everything else. It felt like I was listening to a politician, because guess what? She's dumping the money out like, hey, here you go, big dogs, more money than y'all have ever seen. But guess what happens when she gains the power? She's not going to give them all the money. She's not going to do all that. She's not going to bring big bags of money every time. She's going to do the same thing that any other like crook or whatever or mob boss has ever done. And that's keep most of it for themselves. She still, maybe she pays them a little better, right? So maybe they get a little bit of a
trickle
raise.
Down economics.
But yeah. But she ain't going to be doing that all the time. So
I'm still the host though. I'm still the host.
To me, if I was in that room, I'd grab a pile of cash because I was allowed to. But you might not see my ass again after that. I'm out because I'm like, bro, I'm tired of this bullshit, man. Like, you feeding me a bunch of garbage. Because that's what she's doing. She's feeding them a bunch of garbage, a bunch of empty promises. Because once, like I said, she becomes in charge and the money's flowing, she's still gonna get the top. She's gonna be the top paid person. Yeah. Okay, so like, let's don't like get it, like twisted on that one right there. We know what's gonna happen when she starts making the money, but these fools are just be like, y'all shit, money on the table. We got to see real blood money on this one.
I was making $10.50 an hour.
Yeah, shit, bro. He made some of those guys, they got a big ass raise. You know what I'm saying? But no, it was like good stuff. I thought that just overall, man, like the stories, like even like the simple stories in this show, and then and y'all can talk about this after I bring it up. But like, to me, even the simpler plots of the story is still interesting. Now, maybe it's not my favorite, right? Because obviously you got big moments with Sophia and the Penguin. They're going to overshadow, say, some of the smaller stories. But like when Victor goes to get the mom, like that's like a little bit of a side plot, a little bit of a smaller story. Or even when you take like, for lack of a better term, I don't know like what she would be called, but like the mistress, like the leader of like the ladies or whatever, even like her part of the story, and it's not very big. Like even those simple stories in this show bring something to the table. They're still kind of interesting, or not even kind of, I would say interesting, period. Like I'm wanting to know what happens to that lady, because the actress has done well. The story's been told pretty good. And the same thing when Victor is like on his own doing something for Penguin. I don't want to, there's a lot of shows out there that when we go to a subplot, when we go to something else that's not part of the main story, like I just don't care that much about it. It's like, boom, out of here. So like I'd say Lord of the Rings did a way better thing for this season 2 that we just got through covering. But like there were a lot of subplot things that I didn't care about. It's like, all right, whatever. So let's get to the main story. Let's get to Sauron and see what's going on over there with Celebrimbor and stuff. And this show, I'm not finding myself doing that. Just praise to the writers and the showrunners on this one right here so far, just keeping me interested from start to finish. But we'll go start with Greg. Do you like agree with that? Are you into even the smaller stories in this show, like I am, or do you have a different opinion on that?
No, definitely. They definitely flushed out every character pretty much. We've had individual story plots. We've gotten emotionally attached to Vic, Miss Giante, the Hangman. We have her up story. We have the Penguin, kind of understanding the Penguin. We kind of understand everybody and why they have their motives, and we kind of invested, emotionally attached. So whatever happens from this point on, we'll feel it, because we've gotten like every character, we kind of fleshed it out, even down to the therapist. We kind of like understand him a little bit, even though he's super creepy.
He hasn't crossed. You hear Brandi in the background there, but he hasn't crossed. He hasn't crossed the creepy thing, because like even in this episode, like his part of the story, and he's one I kind of forgot when I'm talking about kind of a subplot, because he's like a subplot too. But like he hasn't crossed the line to me to being a creep, right? Like he met her like in the Arkham. They doing the thing. He's been her therapist. She's going to him. It's not
the same thing we watched, because he was very creepy there.
I don't think so.
I know you did it. Oh, I know what you did. I want to be here with you. His voice was creepy. Like, did you not see what I saw? I mean, Greg, did you see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't take it to being like a creep level. I think he's like obviously
yes, do it. Kind of like.
He wasn't doing
Frankenstein
it like
creating his monster, yes.
He wasn't doing it like that, man. He wasn't doing it like that. But I see him as someone who like I think he does have somewhat like of a love for her. Like I think he's got an attraction for her and all that stuff. But like he hasn't really
to me power too, because he's been, I don't know, I feel like he wants some power. He wants to be part of that power.
I mean, anything that's going to be part of that is going to have to want some of
that.
He's
a creep. Sorry.
I don't know, but I mean, well, you don't say that about Miss Gigante, and she's like super creepy. She killed her whole family. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
She is getting back at them.
Well, that's okay. Creepy. That's okay, but this guy that's like helped her out hasn't crossed the line so far, that wants to be there by her side, because like obviously he likes her or whatever. She has some kind of like.
He feels like he created this monster, like I said, Frankenstein, Dr. Frankenstein. He created this monster, and he's like, yes, my plot is coming together. I don't know. He just seems creepy. And
I mean, he may turn creepy.
She cracked. Sophia is cracked. Let me just say, she is cracked. She's not creepy. She's cracked. She done lost her damn mind. But that's because her family put her in that place where she lost her mind, and they wanted to make her create that monster, and they all did.
I think she's finally free. I think she's finally
now. She's free.
I will say about that character, I don't agree with you guys about him being creepy yet, but I would not be shocked. So like another episode or maybe 2 episodes more, and then suddenly his character does something right. Like his character does cross the line. To me, it hasn't crossed the line of becoming like a creep. Like, but maybe he has ulterior motives. You might be correct, and we might find that out later. And then maybe he does cross that creep threshold. But when I see creep, I'm not going to call somebody a creep that's like, he obviously, like I said, likes and possibly even loves her, like got a crush on her or whatever, maybe possibly. But he also has done nothing to her wrong. He's probably the most trustworthy person she's probably even had in her life, period. so far. And like to me, he
I
hasn't
didn't
crossed
say
that
he,
line.
I didn't say he crossed the line, or I just said he's creepy. Like he is creepy. He's
Well, that guy,
creepy,
he kind of looks creepy, but I mean,
yes, he's creepy.
you know,
The way he talks, the way he's creepy to me. He's just creep vibes.
we always talk
That
that
radar
way.
went up.
He's
That
been in
radar.
things. He's always kind of talked that way.
That radar is up.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of messed up, man. That's judgmental on my man Juice. My man Juice, he talked that same way when he was playing Juice in that show.
He was kind of similar to when he played on Luke
Me
Cage.
out. Why did you take me out?
Just like a creepier version.
I didn't mean to. I actually accidentally hit my keyboard. I didn't even know there was a button on my keyboard that could do that.
Oh,
Ooh.
the Brandi button? Thanks.
That's what all your money is going towards, guys. We're learning new things.
Yep. But nah, man. There's just a lot of things. Like I said, like we had the confrontations. What did y'all think about the Salvatore family like son? That
awesome.
piece of shit out there. Like
awesome.
I liked his spot just because it shows how stupid you are to go on like TikTok or some dumb shit like that and post like live videos about what you're doing, where you're at, like all the time. Yeah. And especially for like him, it's like, oh man, you're so damn stupid. He's in
like dumb kids. Like the brother was dumb and this one's dumb.
Yep. And it's true because it's not far fetched either, because you've seen rappers get killed because they post pictures of their location or post videos of their location. You've seen like El Chapo's kids always make videos and they were arrested.
Mm-hmm.
But just it's just kind of like you would think like this is not possible. There's no way a kid with that background would be making.
And he's like,
true.
We're gonna take over. You were taking back over.
Yeah, it was almost like he was trying to start a rap album and then he got his ass taken out. No, I did remember one more thing to me that was kind of weird, that this would be like another mistake, I think, in the show. It didn't like take me out. But it was like the first thing I think of is like, when they're having the shootout around the mushrooms and stuff, he had already like got to his mom and she's like hugging him and stuff while the shooting thing's happening and all that. And then Penguin lights up the lighter and drops it because like we saw Home Dude was like coated in some stuff. Like, I'm going to assume that's gasoline.
Yeah.
Like, how does the mom? Yeah, exactly. How does the mom not smell that the whole time she's hugging him? Like, and thinking that's kind of weird. Why are you doused in gasoline? Like, you could see it. I thought he was just like wet from them pouring water on him or something for a second. But as soon as Penguin like busts out the lighter, he busts out that lighter, bro. Bro, that is something that I actually truly do love about this show. Is like Penguin, when he's around like certain characters, man, he's like seems like a good guy, right? Like might even be sort of fun to hang around a little bit or something. But then like you have the moments like when the brother messed up in like the first episode and was like talking his trash, and you see it in his face. Boom, he just shoots him, don't even care. And then like even in this episode, when he had that look on his face of like just pure like, oh yeah, this is it, and he just drops that lighter and sets like a boy and his mom on fire at the same time. Like it's just like yeah. And the same things with Sophia, right? Like Sophia seems like, oh, there could be a rational person, and then like she's skipping through the house after killing her whole family. But she's like, this is what I was talking about. I'm gonna bring it up again because I do think it's right. Sophia is playing that bad, evil character, but with the quirkiness better than I would if you put these two. And it's really awesome when you find out like what kind of show she's been in and stuff before. She really hasn't played this kind of a character too much, if at all, unless there's something like I'm missing out there. But like for her to be stepping in this role, like Aubrey Plaza from like Agatha, like she's kind of doing that same thing. But I think Sophia and the actress in this show is actually doing like a better job of that, man. Like I'm like really like into her, like doing the crazy shit, killing people, and then like in this episode, she's doing something crazy, but then she's just kind of chilling, smoking a cigarette, before old VD starts cracking and talking about how he loved his cousin, which we find out that was his cousin that was married to the big boss and her dad, and happened to be her mom. and everything else. But she's like got this guy who's like basically freezing to death. Like he's going to die a slow, painful death if he doesn't like do something. And she's just back there.
Yeah. It definitely reminds me. I think the only other person I've seen do this is Cersei from Game of Thrones. I thought the way she turned was kind of comparable, but in a different kind of way. But it kind of like really shocking how that turn was. I think that's the equivalent. I mean, she's been good. She's a great actress. Just great writing.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, but Chef's Kiss. Whoever, and this is something I've said about like another show we've watched before. It's like when I watch a show, I don't want to hear about the writers. And something I've seen here recently in some of the shows that we've watched is like the writers coming out, making statements and all this stuff about like all these things. And sometimes it's not even to do with the show. This show, I don't know who the writers are. I couldn't tell you. But guess what I'm going to do and pay attention to after this show? Who the writers are.
Brandi.
I'm going to see where these writers and like the people that ran this show, I'm going to see what they do, what their next project is, because this is the perfect thing. I don't care who the writers is before I watch a show. The great thing about a writer, though, is I am going to care once I watch it. And like I said, and I feel like not necessarily that you even outsmart me, but I feel like you're as smart or smarter than I am. I hate watching shows where I feel like the people are like, yo, bro, like, I could have called that, dog. Come on now. You know, like, can we get this fixed or whatever, like, and whatnot. And like, so I don't like watching shows whenever I feel like, not even that I could do a better job because I'm not a writer, obviously, or whatever, but it's like my intelligence being able to find out, bro, you missed something big here, and that they couldn't. This bothers me. But I am going to say about this show real quick, going to one of the things I wanted to ask was like, you know, whenever you watch a movie or a show and you end up finding out something about a character that you didn't know, or like, for instance, like we always knew Penguin was kind of like the guy in the sewers, but he ran like this whole thing and he was like running the show sometimes because he had like a big, like a bunch of power and stuff like that. That's why he was one of like Batman's like villains or whatnot. But like a lot of times when you find out information or some background information, you're disappointed. You're like, man, I wish you wouldn't have never told me how this guy did this or this person got this name or whatever it is. In this show, we find out how Penguin gets himself and starts to form a base in the sewers. I loved it. I love how he's like gets the idea for it. I love how it led to that. Like, I find myself loving the fact that I'm finding out how Penguin ended up in the sewers and like doing that kind of thing. I think it's creative. It's good. There's like multiple reasons for it because he's like doing the new drug from the mushrooms, which happens to be like a great spot underground like that, like he was talking about with the humidity and stuff underground and everything. But it's like, like I said, there's a lot of things that I've found out about characters that they try to go back and tell like a little pre-story about them. How did they get here? And it's like disappointing a lot of times. It's like, damn, I wish they would have left that alone. I liked using my imagination in that point. So do y'all agree with that? Do y'all agree like finding out how Penguin ends up in the sewers kind of situation, part of his story and background and everything else? Did y'all actually like that? Do y'all like that part? Or y'all disappointed in finding that out and how you found out? Go ahead, Brandi. You already like commenting, so we'll let you get Greg this time.
Oh, I liked it. You see that he said he made the story of him and his brothers used to the underground trolley. They used to go and run. You know, that's how everybody got through the city is through the tunnels. And he saw that coin and he's like, oh, the tunnels that were supposed to be closed off, and he opened it up and he's gonna run the city with the little details. Gonna run the city through there, because I didn't know where he was going, because like after like, oh, how is he getting out of this now? Both the families they didn't kill off the head guy of, they messed that up. They got the wife and the kid, but not the big head honcho. And then Sophia's still up, and now Sophia's going to be after him. I'm like, now he's screwed. How is he getting out of this? He only has two mushroom things left. Like, what's going on? And then you see plot twist. Here you go. We're gonna run the underground. And that was cool to see that. And we'll be cool to see that coming in the next episodes and stuff, how that comes about.
Yeah, Greg, man.
I think that's a nice little thing for the people that follow Penguin. Obviously, you think your Penguin is usually projected as like someone that's underground, you said, or that he's owned the club. So they showed the club earlier, the Iceberg Lounge, and what he owned, and they kind of transitioned him in a way where now he's got to, he's being pushed underground because everybody's after him, and now so it makes sense. And then tie in the mushrooms, like, hey, mushrooms grow under here. Now it's a little convenient, like obviously you got to just think about it like, okay, he's got probably a lot of money, a lot of people, that probably a couple people are going to be on his side, going to be able to fix this all up, and it's going to magically become, the epicenter of all the trafficking and stuff. So that part probably like, it's convenient that he found it, that he tied it in with the story about, this is where I played. And it's cool that him and Vic are from the same area too, I guess.
Yeah.
Tying into the homecoming up with the whole name. But yeah, it was done, the transition and how to get him from point A to point B in that aspect was very good.
No, yeah, I totally agree. Like, I just love watching shows where, like I said, the subplots or whatever that sometimes you can tune out, maybe look at your phone and scroll or something like that and not pay attention to, because overall it's not going to mean that much at all, period. When you watch some other shows, watching this show, like everything that happens like has some kind of meaning and to get you somewhere. So like at the very beginning of the episode, you could have sort of complained, right, a little bit about like the Victor subplot about going and getting his mom. Like you understand why it's kind of happening because he's wanting to keep his mom safe. But you're like, whatever. This is just like a little bit of a break in momentum. But then like everything unfolds and you think back about the episode and I'm like, oh man, that was wonderful. Like you think it's just, he's trying to keep his mom safe. And that's the only reason why it's happening. But like Brandi said, he dumps out the coins. He sees that other coin that's like a thing for like the trolleys from back in the day in his childhood. That makes him remember something, which then leads to him finding this kick-ass little place that you probably could put together, like in the not really like a sewers. I guess that would be almost like an underground, like sort of like a subway system or whatever. But
yeah, underground subway.
It reminds me of the Ninja Turtle movie.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He's gonna become a Ninja Turtle.
Oh, they're gonna be there or what?
Hell yeah, dog! Like, but I'm down for it. But
get in my head, Greg.
But yeah, like the biggest thing would be is all that stuff comes together, man, and it's like, well, I'm glad I paid attention to that part of the story. I'm glad I just didn't throw that part of the story away because it has like something to it. Like I do believe the head of the ladies is going to be one of the people that betrays him. Like I don't think she's going to stay loyal. I think that Sophia is going to get to her, and then she's going to like turn.
Should have Oz killed her?
I mean, like if you're rooting for Oz in the evil bastard sense, yeah. But like if you're rooting for him, kind of as a character, like being like a tragic, like almost looking at him as like being a tragic story where he just wants to do he wants to get power, which is that's his down, like that's like his bad. But as he tried to climb up there, he tried to do it the right way, but then kept finding out the hard lesson of you can't do it the right way most of the time. You're going to have to do it. So he probably should have took her out if you look at it, because that's just me kind of guessing. I do know that I love the fact that they're building up Sophia to be like, a pretty good, like, but she's gone. She's not going to be there. Like, she's a really cool character and stuff. And I like the fact they're building her up to where she's like this powerhouse. She's even like teaming up with the Salvatores now, and then her new name with her family. But she's going to get, I don't know if she's going to like necessarily get taken out in this show. They may have like a thing already planned out for season 2 because it is like a pretty popular show and getting pretty good reviews. But she's getting taken out. Like if you pay attention to Batman lore, you know that. Like I said, I just don't know if it's going to happen this season or not. But to build up a villain, this is a correct way because she does seem very dangerous. She does seem formidable. Mm-hmm. And to me, they're doing it the right way. This is how you tell a story. This is how you put like, what some people want to try to call girl boss or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like that ain't what this is. This is the perfect like situation of telling a story the right way, telling it correctly, making it make sense, not doing stuff that's just stupid. she's doing the thing that she can do, that she's good with. She's good, like working the mental aspects, right?
Mhm.
She's super smart. She's intelligent. She's trying to make the right moves. Don't follow the same steps, like, fix things that her dad and other people that were in charge was doing, and kind of like taking over and not making those same mistakes and all that. Like, so she's doing it the way that her character is made to do it, and it makes total sense. Like, nobody can sit here and say that like she's went through trials and tribulations. She's done the thing. She's done it intelligently, like taking her family over.
The father wanted her to take over the business.
Yeah.
She did now.
Yeah, she has. And probably like it's like in a weird situation, like her dad looking down on her, probably be like, man, it sucked. She took out the whole, but you know what? She did it maybe because that might have been something he would have did in the same situation, to be honest with you, because obviously he's ruthless and killed his own wife. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but I mean, Sophia, as far as a villain, man, I already know probably what the answer is, but I'm just going to ask it anyway. What do y'all think? Do y'all agree with most of the stuff I said? And what do y'all think about Sophia, the villain, so far?
She's great. She's great.
You definitely can understand her point of view. You feel for her because of the torture, being unfairly committed to Arkham.
They made her like that way.
Yeah, you can start seeing the betrayal from Oz. You can start seeing the her transformation and what she had to journey all the way into where she is now, and what she had to do to get there.
Some people may not have liked the episode, and especially one part. Me and Brandi kind of talked about it because, like, that's one of the reasons why Adelia won't be joining us on like this show, for instance. It's because there are things like, I think it was whatever episodes when she showed, like when it showed her getting into Arkham and stuff like that, and the way they handled her and all that stuff, and like showed her backstory and everything, and like what was happening to her in the asylum and how she was treated. I love the fact that they didn't do what other shows will do and make that weak because we're scared because people might complain about it, because I would be sitting here saying, oh man, this is bullshit, dude. Like, she's over here, she's snapping, like Brandi said, getting all cracked and everything, and like doing all this stuff, killing her family because she was in this place that didn't even really do nothing that bad. But nah, man, in this show, like, because they went to that level, you know what I'm saying? Like, showed almost no fear. Like, this is what's going to happen. You get thrown in some kind of insane asylum in the middle of Gotham. They're going to throw you around. They're going to strip you naked. They're going to like.
She's got scars. You see the scar on her shoulder from.
But that, from being in there and stuff like that. But it's like but like I said, maybe it was a little bit hard to watch for some people, but because they went to that level, right? Like I said, when she first gets in there and they're like, these dudes are just like stripping her naked to do the whole like shower thing, like what they do, what we've seen in like movies all the time, and just like manhandling her around and stuff. Like, that is something that's like, hey, that is kind of hard to watch for like certain people according on certain situations. But that made the story better, because now when I'm looking at this character and saying, oh shit, why would she do this? I'm not laughing going, oh, this is bullshit, dude. Nothing barely happened to her. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm like, oh, damn, I understand it. I get it. It makes sense. Like, she's up to this level because, like Brandi was saying, she was kind of made that way, right? Her dad like betrayed her, and didn't just betray her, but like threw her away. Basically.
Framed her.
Framed her, all that stuff. So like, and then when she gets there, it ain't no like,
she got promised it would only be 6 months, and that she would be, be out in 6 months. So she waited the 6 months, and then it was like, you're not getting out at all. You're not even having a trial. You're just committed to this place.
But right, like, so let's say it would have been like done if they would have made the creative choice of making it to where, okay, she's out of there in 6 months. Even her dad turns her back on her again and makes her stay longer. But let's say she's staying there to 6 months, but she's getting a little better treatment than some because she's like a Falcone or whatever. If they would have went that route, at this point of the story, I would say her character is not that good, because like, yeah, she got kind of betrayed, but like, it wasn't like she was like getting thrown into this deep, dark, like nasty place that would turn someone into that. But the way they did it, the way they did that episode, to me is like perfect, because now I understand her character. I get her character, and I can't just like laugh it off and say, "Oh, this is stupid." Oh, why does she feel sad, or why does she feel like this, and why does she feel that way?
She didn't kill her first person
Makes sense.
until she was in that place.
Right. But it's like I said, if they would have treated that with like a soft touch and didn't do it as like graphic as they did, I mean, they could have did even more, but like they went to that level that I think crossed the line for some people. But I think it overall sometimes, especially if you're watching drama, especially horror, something like that, anything with crime bosses in it, like that we're talking about, there's going to be bad people and bad things are going to happen. We got to get out of this whole mindset of like, oh, wait, some people might get triggered. Nah, bro, like we're making stories here. We're making stories about what happens in life. Like this feels like it is like just super good because of that, because it's showing the greediness of the city, the people, these people going against each other, like how rough it is. And like I said, I love the fact they showed her story. Just brutal. It was brutal. Like, be honest about it. But that makes the story better. It makes what you watch better. As you go along, you follow her character. It's just, oh my God. Like, it just makes it that much better. I mean, do y'all guys agree, or do y'all think they should have in that episode been softer and just not showed it as being brutal? What do you think? Well, Brandi, you already shaking that head. What do you think about that?
Me or Greg?
You, because you was already ready. Greg looked like he was thinking. He looked like he was like in the zone.
No, I don't think they should have made it any softer. This is her story. This is who she is. This is HBO. They can go, or Max, whatever they're called now. They can go to any extreme they want to go, and this is where they went to. And I thought it made it great, so we understood, what she was going through and how she's feeling, and what made her the way she is. So, yeah.
Agreed. Big Daddy Greg, you agree with that as well?
Yeah, unfortunately, I can only speak to myself. I've been desensitized to violence, and like it can't, like, you have to kind of escalate to get my attention, to make me kind of pop in, because I've already seen like things done in a tamer way, and that doesn't really shock me anymore. So now you have to go to the next levels. It's kind of like just getting attention in general has become, someone's attention has become escalated. You have people like wearing crazy clothes, dyeing their hair all kinds of colors. Like it has to jump. And I think we saw that with kind of like with Saw. I think Saw kind of jumped higher. I thought Game of Thrones kind of to push the limits of like, oh wow, this is really like, I can't believe they're showing these deaths and the torture and stuff like that. And it's just something you have to visually see. Because I think visually it shocks you to actually see something versus just kind of imagine it for whatever.
Yeah, so like especially in shows like this, if you go overboard, it's almost like it becomes campy or whatever, right? Because it's like, that don't really happen. But it's like I said, in the episode, they did a perfect balance of this is actually something that would happen. If you got thrown into an insane asylum and you're supposed to be crazy, they do shit like this to people, and it's bad, right? It's not good. That's why we don't have as many of those things in America now. They're closer resemble to hospitals and not really asylums anymore. They don't even think they even use that name anymore. But like that thing did happen. Those are bad things that do happen, and it makes sense for the story and makes sense for her character, for her to become what she became. And like I said, I agree with you. I like horror, bro. You got to jump it way to hell up here for me to be like, oh shit, whatever. There's 2 scenes in movies that is hard for me to watch. Oh, well, 3 things I should say. The third is anything happening to the eyeballs. If somebody's about to stab somebody in the eyeball and it's got that like the razor getting really close to the eyeball, you know what I'm saying? Like if I couldn't see very well, I'm wearing glasses. I ain't putting shit in my eyeball. I'm not putting no damn contacts or anything in my eyeball ever. I'm using the glasses because I don't like the eyeball stuff.
Well, I wear glasses.
The other 2 scenes, actually, I'm even thinking of another one, but I'll just say these 2. So like the scene in Last House on the Left, the original, there's a scene where something happens to a girl. It's too realistic. Like I'm not docking the people that made the movie, because it's another thing to where that happens and then stuff happens further on into the movie and everything else. But like the Clockwork Orange, when they go into that house and there's like the older couple and what they do while they're in that house and everything, like that is like even hard for me to watch, because like it's almost too realistic. But yeah, you got to jump way up there. But I see that stuff and I'm like, hey, this sucks. I might got to turn my head a little bit. It makes me a little uncomfortable. But that's part of telling stories, certain kinds of stories, right? Yeah. Like you don't obviously want to see that like watching a Disney movie, right? Or watching even like Star Wars or something like that. But when you're watching a serious movie with like bad things in it and bad people in it, that's one of the biggest things I think. Like, so this show's doing very well with the top villain, Sophia, telling a great story, showing where she's coming from, all that kind of good stuff. I think one of the big downfalls with like media here recently is we're too afraid to have a real bad guy. They got to have some kind of like, they're like morally gray. They're kind of bad. And yeah, they did a bad thing, but there's like this good reason for it. We want to sympathize with them. We want to kind of make them a good guy, sort of like in a certain. No, dude, stop. Why we watch this stuff, right? It's like why you watch sports. You're cheering for your team, and the other team's the bad guy that week. You want your team to beat the shit out of that team. That's why you cheer for it and you get so amped up for it. Same thing when you're watching stories. Whether it's a person that's the bad guy, maybe it could be as something in the environment that's a bad guy, just whatever it is. Like you want that to be like an actual real thing and a hardcore thing, because guess like shit, man, life's tough. And we need to stop being like, we need to stop, being a bunch of wussies when it comes to bad guys. Let bad guys be bad guys. Like let them do their thing. And so I actually like the way this show's doing that. I really do appreciate it that we have a good villain. And you're gonna like when you do a good
They're
villain
all
the right
villains. This whole show is a villain.
yeah, but you got your. I'm talking about the top. Sophia's the top villain here because you're following Penguin's story, and he's doing bad things. Yes, he's a villain. I agree with you 100%.
He's the villain too.
But like he's the softer version because like that's the main character you're following. You don't want him to be like every second evil, pure evil. So I think they're doing a good job of that, and a good job of that mixture. But it's like she's the top villain.
She wasn't pure evil every second. I mean, she took the little girl out. She could have had her killed too. But
yeah, but it's like I told you in last episode when we're talking about it. That's almost just as bad. She is literally. That's why I said that she is pure evil. Was because she's literally she saved that little girl's life. Mm-hmm. That's what you want to say, and that's something you want to try to give her props for. But she literally created another her, which isn't good. Like she did that. That girl's gonna be going straight to her. Girl, what do you think? Some of these we don't know. Like that van, like because the little girl in this episode is getting in a van. It's like housing or whatever it is was on the side of the van. Like you don't know where she's going. She could go somewhere worse than that asylum. Like that is not good being in these little homes and stuff like that. Like you get lucky sometimes. And you get picked to go to a super great place.
Hopefully, she's really going to a home of somebody not in from the family that was not part of the.
She turns around and looks back at her. You know the thought process in that girl's head because she ain't too young. Like it's not like she's a baby. She's like she can think a little bit. She's actually kind of smart from like the kind of things that we did hear her talk about like with her before this all happened. Mm-hmm. So that girl's gonna be like she killed my parents.
Well, she don't know, but yeah, if she does.
She's going to pick a life of bad so that she can eventually get to Sophia, unless something happens to Sophia first before she can do it.
Probably
something's going to happen to Sophia before she can do it. But I'm saying you're making another you and like and Sophia's case, and that's not a good thing. That's bad. Like that in some ways could be even worse. Like this girl could have a terrible life from this point on. You could try to give Sophia a little bit more. Let's say if she would have kept her. Like around, I guess, like living in the big house and kind of like adopted her pretty much or whatever, but like and kept her safe. But then again, I still think that little girl's going to be like this crazy ass woman that's been taking care of me I'm only playing along because she like took my family out. Like, you're not, no matter how bad your parents are, whatever, you still have love for them. She's still going to have love for her parents. And like I said, I think her parents were just scared, like her mom and stuff. They just were around there because they were too scared to move on. Because guess what? You in one of these families and you try to get out of the family or move away from the family and not be around, things get suspicious, and you're the next one
on the chopping block.
Yeah, getting tore up. So yeah, but let's go. We're going to give final thoughts and score on this episode and what you think about the season so far. So we will. Do I need to start, or when are you guys ready?
I just want to pose a little quick question, real quick, if you don't mind.
That's what final thoughts is for, Greg.
Do you feel like what do you think the percentages are actually rooting for Oz to win? Like, and actually, or how many people are actually sympathizing with Sophia and kind of want her? Like, is it completely like a Jon Snow Cersei kind of thing, or do people kind of like, is it closer to like 50-50, 60-40? Like, I understand Sophia, I understand. I kind of want her to kind of, and take over and win this whole thing. Like, who do you want?
This is the thing, and I've talked about it since we've been doing post credits and stuff like that. This show is great. And the reason why I know it's going to be great, for one, we know the Penguin's the main character. Mm-hmm. He's got exactly what I got written below my name there, plot armor.
Okay.
So I think in this situation, they've done such a good job that a lot of people was hoping, I don't think it's going to happen, but a lot of people was hoping that Sophia and Penguin would somehow come together in some kind of way and start actually working as a team, right? Mm-hmm. Being together like that and that kind of thing. Like I said, I don't think this is going to happen. Now, and if I say this is not a spoiler because I don't know, but now we could get into one of the last episodes and there's a moment like after this whole thing kind of fell awry, like whenever the Salvatore mom came in and then like home dude had to run over one guy with the car and everything, all that kind of went back asswards, that there's a conversation that happens between Penguin and her that we haven't seen yet that makes like everything that's happening right now make sense. So like, Penguin's supposed to be the one getting the drugs off the ground and she's acting like she kills her family and then she's acting like, I'm going to team up with you, Mr. Salvatore. And then they just like, she does her thing and then like kills off the Salvatores. And now she's standing strong and then he's standing strong. And then we see a conversation they had where it was like showing a game plan or something where they're actually working together. I would not be shocked if I seen something like that. But I do think most people wanted them to work together. And that might be what we see. That's what I'm saying. Like maybe it leads up to that eventually in some kind of way. But when Sophia does get taken out, like you're going to feel it. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though she's a bad guy, such a great, powerful character that they've developed and put in there. And the actress has done really well too, just like Colin has with Penguin and stuff. And Victor, actor, has done really well. Like, she's done so well, all that stuff. When she dies, it's going to be effective. Like it's going to hit, whether you're rooting for her or you're not rooting for her, whether you're rooting for the Penguin or you're rooting for her. Like, that's the thing. That's crazy. Is when you do a good job, that's what you're going to feel. Unlike some things you watch and it's like, oh, okay, not that big of a thing. Whatever. Yeah. Let's get on to the next moment. And this, when she does bite the dust, it's going to be a big, impactful moment.
Yeah, definitely. And whatever happens to Vic,
it's going to be a big, impactful thing. Like, let's say his character, I'm already kind of like loving his character. Like, if something happens to his character, like super bad, where he gets killed off or whatever, like, I might even almost shed a tear, man. I like that kid. Like, and it might be an adult acting, but like the kid in the show, like it's done so well. And like I said, episode or two ago, I didn't agree with Ferris. Like, I think what he's having to do, I think Sophia, the person, the actress and stuff, has like this gravitas, this kind of thing with her, like the X factor that she walks into a room. And I'm talking about this is in regular life, not even on the show. she'll walk into a room or something like that, and people's attention automatically gravitates to her. So I see what people are saying. She's got that X factor, especially in this show, and how good she's doing. To where, yeah, but that's like more of a natural talent to me than what he's doing. The way he can come in and out of the stuttering, the way facial expressions, things like that he's doing. He's also like a younger person, so he's like pretty damn skilled for how old he is. Like, I just think the job he's doing just really great. Now, I think Colin's doing good as the Penguin, but the Penguin's so expressing because it's so awesome because you don't even know it's Colin.
Yeah.
You just see the Penguin, the makeup's so good. So I think the makeup almost overshadows the acting that Colin's doing to a certain point, because like, yeah, he's doing a good job, but the only thing I can say is like, bro, how in the hell are they able to do this for so long for a show? Like, this is just like, bro, that part's just amazing. But yeah, you have anything to add on that, Brandi?
Yeah, I was one of those people that kind of wish that they would come together and work together at the end, because I like them both, like, for different ways, you know. But I know she feels Oz betrayed her, because she did, you know, he was her driver. She did have that relationship with him, you know, and then she felt he betrayed her. So in the end, she wants to get him now. So she's like, you did all this, you set all this in motion, and now she's hurt. She's hurt. She did get hurt by a lot from him. Like, and that moment just started it. That moment when he was, you know, he told the father on her, just put that whole thing in motion. So, you know, this is his fault, the way she is.
Right. All right, Greggy Poo, you already kind of came up with your last thoughts there. Give me a favorite moment, and then tell me what your like score is of this episode and the show so far.
All right, favorite moment: the death of the burning death.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Son.
That was a good. That was a good moment.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, okay, now we're in this life.
This life's hardcore. Yeah, go ahead.
And then the same thing. It was just a stupid trap. I'm just like, there's two people. There's two of them. You only brought two people, and one of the guys just like barely trying to sneak up on the other guy. You don't have a gun, like just horribly stupid.
Yeah, but I will agree. I agree. Like I said, it's nitpick stuff, but that was a couple of things that I saw like watching the episode. Because I'm going to be fair, even when I watch an episode that I'm actually thoroughly enjoying and think super awesome, when I think a character does something stupid. Like I said, I brought up the mushroom in that one episode. You literally just told home dude, don't touch the mushrooms because they're very fragile, and then proceed to snap one off the stalk. It's like, come on, man. But if I'm going to point it out in other shows, I'm going to do the same thing here if I notice anything. But like, well, did you give us a score, Greg? Go ahead.
8.5.
8.5 for the episode. Are you about the same way for the whole season, or you even
the whole
higher
season's
for the
season? Like a 9.5.
Oh shit! Yeah. All right, Brandi.
Any
final thoughts?
Any final thoughts? I said a lot of final thoughts, but no, I liked the whole episode. My favorite part probably was when she has her mom's coat on and she comes out and she's the new boss in charge, and just the way she came out and like commanded the room. I just, she had that powerful moment of commanding the room. I like that.
Did you have a least favorite thing?
Least favorite? Yeah, this like that shootout stuff when there was only the two of them. That guy didn't have a gun, and then he broke the mushrooms, and like, yeah, that was a stupid. That wasn't my favorite. It was my favorite when they lit up the people. I'm like, oh, we're lighting people on fire now. But yeah, going in there and stupid, like you said, the guy, he just didn't go out and shoot him. He just like turned around, like, oh.
Yeah, it's like they just threw that guy. That whoever it was.
That guy just walked into the room like, hey, what's going on?
Stunt man. They had like an extra stunt man walking around on set, and they're like, hey man, it'd be cool if we let the Penguin kill somebody. So, hey, just walk around the corner here, and then the Penguin's going to turn around and shoot you. Okay, cool, thank you. He's like,
did he hear him? Like, how did he hear him with all that commotion going around?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
you know how they're always in the forest, and then one of the bad guys or the good guys will step on a twig.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I was expecting that. I was like,
No, man, but it's like, to me, you're in a shootout, obviously. Like, the goal is to kill Penguin.
Yeah.
Like, you peek out the door. Like, obviously, he had to come at us from behind something. You peek around the corner with your gun and just shoot him. Like, what are you doing just walking out there? What was you going to do? Give him a, like, try to surprise him and just do, like, a cool finishing maneuver because you thought you could? I mean, I don't know what the hell you're thinking there, but yeah.
So I like also like the turtle lair, that we're gonna call it, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle lair. And I also like the stuff with the mother, because you got to see more of her, and like when Victor came in, she thought he was her son.
One of the sons, yeah.
Yeah, one of her sons, and he wasn't. And then just seeing, and he's like, "Hey, what happened to you?" She's like, "Oh, I fell." But you seeing the mind of someone who has a mental disorder, and I'm kind of going through that myself with my own mother. So seeing those moments, and then then you see how she is with Oz sometimes, there she's hugging her and she's like, "Don't touch me," like the switch that happens inside, and I'm dealing with that myself, with the switches that happen inside. It's difficult to watch, but it's important that you see what can happen. So those moments are very powerful.
I'm glad you said that, and I'm glad you brought that up, because that's what I was talking about earlier. We all have things that we go through the life and that hits harder. So like when I'm watching a movie or even a TV show and it's got something to do with like having to be a single parent, and like some of the bad things you got to go through, that hits me harder than some people because they didn't have to live that experience like I have, right? And that kind of thing. But like anything that's bad that's happened to you through your life, yeah, it's tough for you to see things about that. So like in your instance, like you're going through some of the same things that this show is portraying through that mother. But I love the fact that you're not like, oh, they shouldn't. This is my problem. And I was talking about earlier is people will be like, oh, that shouldn't be put in a show because that affects people. And that like is hard for some people to watch. You have a way better outlook on that and saying, no, it's hard for me to watch. And if it was too hard, maybe you need to skip those parts or something like that, right? But it's good that it's in the show, because if it's done correctly, people can learn from that. Other people that may not even, like younger people, they watch this show, right? It's not that big of a deal, but then they find themselves a couple of years down the road in this kind of a situation. And it could be helpful possibly for people to have seen like, oh, this is something that, affects people, and how it kind of affects people if it's done the correct way. Stop trying to not show people things. We need to be tougher as people. And sometimes that means you do hard things. Maybe that means you watch something that's a little hard to watch. But like I said, like sometimes those things can still help. And like I said, it just makes for a better show.
And he even reminded when he told Victor to leave, go into the vent and get my mother, get the bag that's there, her medication. Don't forget her medication because she needs that medication. Yeah. I have to do that a lot with my mom. I have to give her medication every day. And so.
Details again. Like you don't have to have that in there. Most of us probably wouldn't have thought about it. I wouldn't have talked about it being something they should have said in the show. Like I wouldn't even, but man, that's what I'm talking about. Details. There's things in this show. And when you do a good show or even a movie, oh, that's why that's here. That's why this is being said. This is why that's being done. And guess what? It comes like just make something beautiful. And sometimes you're watching something, you're like, damn, this is good. And you may not even be able to pick out why the show's so damn good or why the movie's so damn good sometimes until maybe you reflect on it or something like that afterwards. But like while you're watching it, you just know you're watching something good and you might not be able to pick it out. A lot of times that comes down to the details. That comes down to things making sense. And like
the stuff with her, she had that glove, and I know Victor thought maybe it was Oz's glove, and Oz was like, no, that was my brother's. It wasn't even mine. It was mine. But I have that I have a brother that I lost too, and my mother does pick out stuff, and it was my brother's stuff. So like I see so I get it, like I see it and I understand it, and it's hard to watch, but it has to. These are stories that need to be told so other people, understand the things that are going on.
Yep. All right. So Went through all that. What you give like this episode, and what you're thinking about the season so far as we're getting down the line?
I gave this episode an 8. I liked it. I enjoyed it. It's about the same. I've been pretty much all the episodes have been pretty much the same, 7.5, 8. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
So are you about the same for the whole thing, or do
about,
you?
8.5. It's like, I mean, there was the first episode. I think I gave it a 9, but so yeah, it's about an 8.5, 8 for me. For the whole, it has more potential. Like, to go higher. Like, I mean, it's a pretty good, damn good show.
Yeah.
But I still give it room to give it.
The biggest thing is when they stick the landing. So like right now we're giving the scores out, but then like, hey, let's say they can drop the ball the last episode, or
I hope they don't.
Because like I said, extenuating circumstances, but I think this would be a good example to use. Though House of Dragon to me was a really good show. We got to that last episode, it kind of dropped the ball a little bit, right? Like people wasn't as excited about that. I still enjoyed it, but I get why other people didn't enjoy it at all. But while we were watching the show, we're giving all the episodes 7.5s, 8s, like all this stuff all the way down. So it was a really good show, but then it kind of dropped the ball. This show could do the same thing. So like, even though we're giving it high scores now, that doesn't mean it's going to end up being like the greatest thing I've ever watched. Because like I give this episode shit, man. This is like a 8.5, 9, like AA plus range pretty much. And then like the whole season to me, I'm just giving it to it right now. As far as it goes now, this whole season to me so far has been a 9. Because like every time that we do things or that we talk about stuff, like especially on this like particular show for this show, it's always positive. And it's always hard every episode. Not just one or two of them, but pretty much every episode. When I ask you the question, what's your favorite thing? What's your least favorite thing? It's hard. Like I have to remind you, hey, the least favorite thing doesn't mean you don't like it. It's just like happens to be the lowest point in the episode for you. Like that's pretty crazy because when you're doing that for pretty much almost every episode, it's hard for you to pick like a least favorite. Because like my least favorite would be the same thing y'all kind of said. Like I like the ending of the little gun battle. Because like the whole creativeness of like, oh, he's doused in something flammable and he throws down his lighter, but I don't like the fact the mother couldn't smell the gasoline. That's obviously what it looked like.
Wait, does lighter fluid smell?
But lighter fluid just burns off. It actually doesn't like set people usually on fire.
I don't know.
Well, no, lighter fluid. It's butane that doesn't do that. Lighter fluid, I guess. No, lighter fluid would set it on fire, but it still smells. So it's still got smell to it.
Yeah.
Maybe not as strong as gas. So that's the stuff you put in the barbecue.
Yeah, exactly. Right? So like maybe whatever, but it's like I said, everything else is done so well. I'm not gonna like kill it because of like that's a detail they missed, right? Same thing with the guy coming around the corner and Penguin just turns around and shoots him. They shouldn't have had that guy come around the corner. It doesn't make sense. He's gonna just shoot Penguin in the back before Penguin even notices he's there. He wouldn't be walking up to the Penguin unless he's like the shittiest shot in all the world and has to get 2 feet from somebody to be able to shoot him because he sucks. Like that wouldn't happen. And everything else. And you would think like you having intelligent characters are probably going to come up with a better game plan, whatever. Like I said, I think the mom and Penguin both kind of had a shitty ass game plan. Her with her trap, and then him with like him thinking he's going to be able to get away like with the mushrooms or whatever and not like have something fall apart on it. I do love the fact that the episode ended with the light bulb kind of flickering out and the generator kind of going out and then the one light bulb explodes, because I do think that's going to be foreshadowing for the rest of the season. Penguin got like a good thing here. He survived so far. He found his like next hideout, which I think is a really cool spot. So everything is on the up for him, but things are going to go bad here probably pretty shortly, to where he's going to be in the thick of it and he's going to have to come up with either some kind of creative way or something like that to even survive and make it through the end of the show, obviously. But he's got plot armor, so I'm not worried about him. He will be alive when this is all over with. We'll just have to find out the creative way of them telling it and everything else. But with that being said, man, I think we pretty much covered this whole daggum episode or whatever. Yeah, like I was saying, I think this episode was like an 8.5 AA plus episode, and I think like the whole series has been that high. So I'm giving it at least like a 9 if you're rating it 1 through 10. Like, because like I said, every time we do this, almost every episode, it's hard to find something bad to pick to say your least favorite thing in the episode. And we're all giving it pretty good scores on every episode. Like, I don't know. And another thing, how hard is it if I were to tell you to tell me your favorite episode so far of the series?
The Sophia one.
Right. So like you got one at the top that you think's the best or whatever, right off the top. But Greg, like you did the sound. Yeah. I think you're like me. It's gonna be super hard for me to say what's one of my favorite. And a lot of shows I watch, it's like, bro, this episode's the best episode so far, bar none. It's the greatest. There's a couple episodes that ain't that great. Half of them are good, half of them are bad, but it's still a good show. And this is my favorite. It's like almost pretty easy to do most of the time. This, I think if we all sat down and thought about it, Brandi, like I said, had hers right off the top. Me and you would have to think, but I'm pretty sure we would pick different damn episodes that would be our own personal favorites. Yeah. Because
you're not the Sophia one. I know you guys don't.
No, I mean,
that's a second one. I think that's either 1 or 2.
Yeah, but like,
now that I think about it,
I like the Sophia one. I thought they did a damn good job telling that story, making that character not seem like, oh, we're just gonna make them powerful with no ups or downs or any of that.
Make them crazy without telling why we make them crazy.
Good stuff right there. But as we get out of here, we got something to do. We're doing something new because we do want to appreciate the people that have been and supported us. You know, like we're not the biggest channel in the world, but we do support the small amount of support that we do get at this moment right here. We're almost getting to 1,000 subscribers. We're at like 975 the last time I checked. But one of our used to be Patreon was a Patreon person for a long period of time. He's been on a couple of our shows, and he is also transferred over to our new system because we thought Patreon was doing something that wasn't like super cool. So we're trying to switch systems on there. And I know some people don't like having to switch around and everything. I don't like it as much either, but we feel like we're doing the right things with that. But yeah, we want to shout out Brennan. Brennan, thank you, man, for being there behind us. This is something we're going to start doing. Like when we do different shows and stuff, we're going to pick out one of our members to kind of give props to and everything else, and appreciate everything that Brennan has been there for. He's a great guy. He does his own thing. You can find him like at Page Turner Zero Night. Talks about Star Wars and Star Trek. Probably knows more about that stuff than most people. But just really good guy doing his thing out there. Got a lot of guts. So thank you, Brennan, for being a member. Thank you for being out there, man. Thank you for making the world better places, for being here on this earth. Straight up 100%. Boom. Thank you. And with that being said, guys, I think we're done, man.
And you can join the coffee.
Yeah. Details down below. Please like and subscribe. Do all that good stuff for us. Make comments, man. We don't care. Make the comments. I don't care if they're positive, negative. You ain't gonna hurt my damn feelings.
Don't pick me out again.
Those in the chat.
Pick her out.
I'm gonna get picked out again. It's okay.
That's because everybody's eyes are attracted to you because you're beautiful. You see what I'm saying? So that's how it happens right there. That's why you get picked out and singled out.
Greg's gonna get singled out. He's in the middle today.
Yep. That's right. Greg said this show is shit. He would have got singled out if he just said that. I don't think anybody's gonna.
I'll tell you why it so sucks right now.
Yeah, exactly. Like you'd be like all plastered all over the freaking YouTubes. Like, you believe this guy's thinking about this good show? God damn, boy. I'm pretty sure though somebody out there doesn't like the show for some reason, and that's fine. I don't give a shit. It ain't gonna change my opinion. That's why it's golly, I can't believe I was trying to get out of here.
Just get out of here.
Bro, I gotta get out of here, man. Because like, bro, if you go on Twitter and these people act like because somebody likes or don't like it, it affects. What are you doing, man? Be your own damn person out there. Stop letting these people like pick what you should like or don't like, for God's sakes. Just like your shit.
But like this show and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Have a good one. Peace, man. Everybody be safe out there, bro. The world sometimes is shitty.
Next week I'll be with Justin.
Yep.
Fully clothed.
Do it, Greg.
Bye.
Bye.